What's going on, y'all? Have you thought about women in business? Are you a woman and in business, right? Do you have a business? We're going to break down women in business in all realms. I don't even know where we might hit, but we might land somewhere near you. What's going on, y'all? It's another episode of Minding Your Biz. I'm one of your co-hosts, Dr. BlackWealth.
And it's the woman in business.
That's right.
It's Fabfinancial. How you doing?
Yeah.
Hello.
So you guys, Mind Your Biz podcast. We are a podcast that speak to people in business owners, investors, entrepreneurs that's looking to grow, scale, save in taxes. And we talk all things business on this podcast. So make sure you guys continue to tune in. So today's on Women in Business. It is March. It is, what is it? International Women's Month. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of stuff in March, actually. Yeah. It's physicians match days in March.
March Madness. Springtime. The flowers are blooming. The weather is changing.
March is just marching.
The tax returns is hitting.
Taxes is due.
For sure. Everything. The newness of it. Yeah, for sure. So the women in business. So this episode, when we were talking about, hey, what should we talk about? Like what should be kind of the thing as we discuss. And women in business, of course, is Women International Month. So I said, let's talk about women in business, sure. Right? Let's talk about how women contribute to the economy, how women businesses are viewed or treated, how women businesses have evolved, have changed, right? And not women businesses aren't just pigeonholed into women things, right? It's not just hair care, right? But also tech, financial, right? Industries. So how can women businesses thrive in the economy or in a world that really sometimes doesn't want us there, right? In spite of.
For sure. Women face a lot of obstacles. Women face a lot of obstacles, period. Let's just stop there. I don't want the comparison between, right, men and women or whatever type. But I think that women face a lot of obstacles, right? Since we are on the topic, right? So for all you naysayers, we're talking about women in business or women in general, right? So we're not speaking about men or excluding them, but we're just talking about women. So sure. I think that, women in business I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I think I take Warren Buffett's approach to it, right? So Warren Buffett said, hey, America is a great country. He said, look how far we came with only less than half of the population running it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when you think about that.
Say that again. Pause that again. Yeah. Run that back.
Right. So he was like, and it made me think about it different, right? Because sometimes we grow up black and we just be like, America is just America. We whatever. But
we tend to look at the flaws and what's wrong.
Right.
Versus
kind of adapting to where we at. Because we ain't going, many of us ain't, I know there's a lot of talks about going back to Africa. Y'all ain't going. Y'all going to visit Ghana and fly back here. You ain't going. All right. So we gotta, and I'm all for the opinion of just making the best of where we at. So Warren Buffett said, America is a great country. And look how far we got with literally less than half of the population controlling it or running it, right? Him and his wife, when she was alive, stood by, walked with Dr. King, stuff like that. So imagine when you put more than half of the population in there, including women in leadership.
Who knows what you might get?
World
peace.
Well.
We might actually cure cancer. Can we, if you would, we might be able to actually budget the budget.
Depends. So I think that, so his words like resonated with me because I thought that when you think about it, first of all, they're true. Right? Take some of the emotion out of it right now. I'm trying to get in my emotional bag out, but I'm gonna take it out for a little minute. From a logical perspective, right? America quote unquote has built itself up off of really just wealthy white men or white men in general, right? And so all
which is
women
contradictory to supposedly the principles of America, right? So it was built to make in contrary of what its foundation was supposed to be.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. What the words say.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Actions speak louder than words. So, when we think about women in business, I guess we can kind of pinpoint this a little bit more specific. We talk about Black women in business or Black women in the workplace, right? I think there's a lot of challenges that come with that. I think that women have always been the center block behind great men, communities, and I think that we probably don't do a good job of including and bringing flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that.
Mm-hmm. The support.
I'll say that.
The support, because it's not easy. I think especially when society says that woman or women should be this thing, right? Yeah. There's an idealism of what a woman should be in general, right? Yeah. You need to be soft and dainty, and you need to be nurturing. Yeah. And which is almost sometimes a little bit opposite of what you need to run a business, right? You do need to bring some of that in there, right? But you're going into an industry that's male dominated. Yeah. And so a lot of men to be viewed almost as equal, right? It's really hard for men to see you on an even playing field, to me. You almost have to, some of that daintiness and some of that softness, you have to sometimes turn down, right? So you're viewed and respected and seen in a certain light, right? I can't be viewed as a sexual object. I can't be viewed as a manipulator. I have to be viewed almost like one of the guys so that our opinions can be respected. That's how I view it. As women, I feel like sometimes we're put up on this pedestal to be the mother, the nurturer, and the men, of course, is the hunter, gatherer, provider, and you shouldn't be over here. And I think when women start businesses, sometimes it's difficult for you to transition that out, right? Because if I have a dream and a goal, I want to start a business, I feel really guilty that my nurturer hat for my family is now being pulled into my business hat. I don't necessarily get the support socially to do that, right? It's a lot of these books about how women can have it all, but you really can't have it all. Men aren't conditioned that way. Men aren't kind of socialized to say that you can be the businessman and a good father and a good husband, right? It's more men are, you run the business, you take care of that. Well, women then have to then split who they are. I have to be the nurturer. I have to take care of home. Then if I want to have and run my business, I could do that too. I have to be successful in that. But I think it's difficult and it's unrealistic to pull ourselves into multiple different people to be successful where men don't have to do that. Men could literally start a business and put it all either on the back burner, give it to their wife, give it to someone while they have tunnel vision and focus on their business. And I think women don't get enough support for that. I think from home or even from society that, sis, you don't have to do it all. And you don't have to feel guilty if you fall short in an area, right? And I feel like our mates or our husbands or our partners should be more receptive if we decide to start a business, if we decide to be less homey, right? Or less traditional, right? In that regard. I think women in business is an amazing thing. I feel like the women's perspective, I feel like our thoughts, our dreams, our hopes is what's needed. A lot of times men who have started businesses or are in charge lack perspective on women issues, on how in general, how the world is viewed, because you're viewing it from your perspective. And I think if we can collaborate more and share and say, okay, I get her perspective as a woman, I think that maybe that could be a good idea. I think maybe that could be something worth investigating. And I think in women's businesses sometimes are trivialized or belittled or not taken seriously.
So that's a very interesting approach. You know, I feel like I'm about to get canceled. So I feel a canceling spirit coming.
Don't feel that.
I feel a cancellation spirit coming.
This is a safe place for
I know
you.
it's safe. It's going to be what it's going to be. So.
I'm using my nurturing feminine voice. This is a safe place. Don't feel.
So I'm a little bit of a traditionalist in some sense. So I think that men and women have roles that cannot be given to the other person. Like, this is who you are in nature. This is who a woman is in nature. And I think that we have to really pay attention to what society puts in our face. So prime example is we seen, I think, I don't know, a few months ago where we spoke about how after the incident of George Floyd, how Black people were given more opportunities in boardrooms and promotions and businesses was doing good. But when you dug into the numbers, it was more Black women who got promoted over Black men. It was more Black women who started business, growing business, scaling business. And when you look at people who are feminists, right, it's a fight for women to be seen and heard in a way to be like a man. And in some shape, forms, and fashion, I just don't really agree with it. So I'm going to tell you who. A lot of people like Beyonce. We probably can, all of us can be on the same playing field here. A lot of people, a lot of women like Beyonce. I liked her music. Some of her stuff I would listen to, every little album I get my little one or two songs that I just really, really love, right? Sandcastle is my joint, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but when we went to go see the movie she did, document her journey on the last tour she did, I became a fan. So we talk about women in business. We talk about men not having appreciation for their women. I'm going to kind of go back and forth. Here we go. With Beyonce, what I noticed was Beyonce had a synergy around her, and I seen this through the movie, that she was able to be authentically her fully in her creativeness of the art that she creates. She's intentional about, I want to create an experience for people to feel this way. I need to let them know that I feel their pain, and we're connecting from her to her fans. You get what I'm saying? And when you look at, so let's take the business side of it. The girl makes a lot of money. She's not a billionaire yet, right? She just dropped some product lines that might drop her up there, but she makes a lot of money. When I look at women in business, I think about women who just are just in their natural state. What I mean by that is women have the ability to be like water. You can mold yourself to any type of solid situation that you're in. You're able to converse with your husband, help build him up. You got to think about when the Bible say that Eve was created, a lot of people pull that like he pulled her out of Adam in a subservient manner. But I like to think, what if he pulled Adam's rib to create Eve for a connectivity factor?
Okay.
For her to be connected to him, for her to know how to best help him. Because he gave man the duty of having dominion, right? But notice you didn't see nothing. Now, they had kids, but you don't hear nothing about...
Man, meaning man and woman.
For sure. But notice that they had kids. I can't think of a particular story that outlined a specific duty to a woman to her child, other than the fact that there was families who was married and they was with child. That's all you see. This person begot this person begot this person.
Yep.
It doesn't like break it down to say woman should be barefoot and pregnant, bare the fields, bare the
You absolutely right.
So I think that when women have a cry for how they want to be seen and heard, is more so an internal battle with how they want to show up authentically. You don't see distress from Beyonce from a factor of like, I'm stressing over money. I think she embodies her gift, and her gifts make room for her and make her money. You get what I'm saying? But from a husband and wife dynamic, you see how Jay-Z makes his move, how he's the billionaire, he's the breadwinner, and it creates that piece of like, you can be who you want to be, whenever you want to be, however you want to be, and women should have the freedoms to think that they can do that and to know that they can do that.
For sure, but I think to say that also negates the real struggles that women have, right? And so Beyonce, you see now she's operating her fullness. But if you go back to some of her other documentaries, you see her pressing for her voice to be heard, surrounded by white men who were not taking her serious. No, that's not where I want my lights. Who said the lights this? Well, they make an executive decision to say, well, I'm the light man. Mm-hmm. I feel your light should be this. Mm-hmm. No, well, I'm in charge. This is my show. As Beyonce, mm-hmm. You don't get it. If I was Mick Jagger, you wouldn't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm Beyonce, because you the light man, you think you have dominion or authority.
That came up in her last movie, I think.
Over what I need to do?
For sure.
Absolutely not. So I think still, as we rise as women, our voice and how we move forward is not taken seriously. I know personally as a woman, as I move through the spaces and I've talked to people and men specifically, how I have to behave, mm-hmm. how I have to press the issue to get my voice heard, for them to respect and respond to me, even sometimes with tax clients. As a woman in finance, I'm telling you what you need to do for the betterment of your business. But, oh, well, can I speak to your husband? Not knowing he going to reroute you to me anyway. But go ahead and talk to him, and he going to say, did you talk to my wife? Mm-hmm. But that is the type of struggle women have to be respected as women. Mm. That you don't need to talk to my husband. I'm telling you what you need to do in your business for it to grow and be successful. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to hear it from me in either voice, in my soft voice, my less aggressive feminine voice, or my more masculine voice.
Right. Because
you see me as an inferior person to my husband, mm-hmm. who really not gonna help you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but I don't disagree with those struggles. I mean, of course, I don't have them, but I think my biggest point is like, the more women know, right, who they are, the more that they can sit in that power.
But it's hard to know that when society is pushing a certain narrative on who you should be.
But that's my point.
And if you're not that, it makes it difficult.
For sure. And I agree, but I think that in anybody who has built anything great, man or woman, bucks the society system altogether. Period.
For sure, but we're talking about women.
For sure we are.
That's like saying all lives matter.
Well, not really, right? Because what I'm saying is women
lives matter, but all lives, but all men and women.
Right, but and so I see what you're saying, but I think it's just harder on women because of who women are naturally. They tap into their natural empathists, if that's a word. They have a natural empathy for people. They feel.
But but what you just said, naturally, that's not a thing.
What's not a thing?
Right. So a lot of the stuff is culturally programmed. Mm-hmm. It's not like the lion who through his DNA knows that he is going to eat the gazelle.
For sure.
God placed that in him. He knows that he's the hunter and he was going after the gazelle.
But even that, though, most female lions hunt food.
They both do.
Right.
The male lion and the female lion.
That's all I'm saying.
They both hunt food. They hunt differently.
What I'm saying
God placed an innate thing in them that this is what they do. As a woman, what God placed in me is that I have ovaries and eggs, and I will have children.
For sure.
That's different than you.
For sure.
Everything else after that is typically learned behavior.
For sure.
Right? So I think as men, what men could do to be supportive in women is when you're in the rooms, help open the door for us. You're in rooms where most of the times it's men. And when you think about partnering and doing brand deals and bringing business on, think about give back and open the door for your women. I think that can help push women in business forward. That it's not always like, oh, it's a women's conference. It's all women. We got to be separate. We got to be like in this whole separate silo on our own. You know what I mean? That's great too. But we could do business together.
We could. I guess everybody has to just really get into it. So I think you could, right? But at the same time, we talking about a world that's controlled and ran by men. So I think about what's the pros and cons of you trying to show up in the world to be seen and heard. And I also think about the same way
as a Black American, I want to be seen and heard to be equal, that I matter as a person.
Right? I don't disagree.
The same way as a Black person, I want to show up in the rooms because I can and I'm capable. The same way I would as a woman. I can show up for you because I can and I'm capable, regardless if I have a vagina or not. Right? If we women in business make it better. We have a perspective that you lack, that sometimes you don't see. It happens in your household. Your wife or your partner helps you see the vision better for your family and for your own personal business. So it's the same way in business and partnership. If we have a business and we want to, and don't bring me in just because it's a woman's division or we're launching a women's line. Let's bring in some women.
How they bring Black people in.
Right. And still they won't do it sometimes. Right. And still they won't. It'll be a bunch of men talking about women's issues. At least bring me in on the women's issues. But bring me in, period, because I am willing and capable. Right. When we talk about brand deals or partnership deals, think about women businesses. Think about open the door and help your fellow women entrepreneurs. I
think it becomes an issue because most women are not like 100% locked in and driven to a thing. I've never seen a woman not have the luxury of being able to just be versatile and do something different. I'm not saying it from a complaining factor. I think it's a special trait in women. That's why I say women are like waters. But when you look at a specific...
Wait, say that again?
Any specific field...
Run that back. Women like, we do what?
Like, they lack the ability to kind of stay rooted in a thing or a situation. Like, women have the ability to where they could... Today, we
can't focus and be consistent?
Right. Oh. Today, we focus on this. Tomorrow, we might feel this way. Today, we feel this way.
Like, we fickle.
They are.
Oh.
And I think it has an effect on how most men see people in the marketplace.
Dang.
That's why most men, I'm just giving to it straight now. That's why most men, that's why it seemed like that.
Dang. I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared.
You don't take
He said we inconsistent, we fickle, we lack, drive, we lack focus.
Wow. But it's natural.
It's not.
I don't think. Yes, it is.
God put that fickleness in us.
Right, because you have. All right. So
we lack focus.
Right. Watch this now.
Oh.
For you to have the ability to bounce back and think about a man and what most men have to worry or do. Let's take a hard-on man traditional. Like a man goes to work. He comes home. I ain't talking about if he doing crazy stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you take a woman. A woman is a wife.
I'm trying. I'm sitting in my seat. I'm trying over here.
Listen. A woman is a wife, a mother, right? Then on top of that, most men look for their wives to be all about them, for them, in them, all kind of stuff, right? So if I come home, I bring my troubles here. Wife has to be so versatile.
Correct. That's what I said. We have to wear several hats.
That's what I'm saying. But that's a natural instinct in women from a business perspective. Sometimes it don't fit the mold. And in order for a woman to be driven, I'm not saying that they can't be, but when you start operating in that sense, you become more masculine than you are feminine. And sometimes that takes over. That's why you got most people who be like, y'all women are masculine, this, that, and the third. But nobody knows what they want. Nobody knows what they want. The man don't know what he want in a woman. He want a woman that's soft or masculine, and a woman don't even know how she want to show up. He said we
fickle. He said women fickle and lack
women don't know
consistency.
how they want to show up.
He trying to fight. He trying to fight today. He said we fickle and lack consistency, and we not driven. I don't even know how it's bringing up like what
unfortunately
I ate last night.
We all become victims of the few of the few who, right? They're not gonna let's say if I'm in like when I was in the military, they're not gonna point out Tariq like, oh, he's the bad soldier. They're gonna say, oh, look at them army people, that's how they do.
Okay, so
unfortunately we fall in that category.
So women, right, in terms of being able to multitask, and not, when you say fickle, being able to multitask and wear multiple hats, right? Being able to juggle and do a lot of things good, right? I have to be a mom, a wife. I have to make sure that my home base is set up. Right, which is what I was saying. So if I have support from my home, but I also want to do a business, I also want to start a business, right? I also want to press forward in my business. Means that what? I can't do that because you lack the capacity to support me as my spouse?
No, it has nothing to do with support. First of all, I think any woman who has a business should never have to start a business. Should never have to start a business off of pure survival or the ability to be money driven. That's what I think. That's the reason why I brought up the Beyonce and Jay-Z narrative, because I think Beyonce can sit in, although she might have to show up in the space where she has to declare herself as being a boss. I don't care who it is. That's probably everybody's have to.
It's not.
Take that.
It's uniquely to women. It's unique to women.
All right, well, let's keep it there.
I'm not saying men and maybe black men, but white men don't have to do that. And I pretty much say black men probably don't have to do that either.
Okay. So we'll focus on women. So but I don't think that they should have to start a business to where they become the sole provider. It's based off survival or necessity. I think when they do things like that, it takes away from their character. And that's where you start to see problems come in, because even in the workforce, you take the business.
What do you, if I start a business, if I'm a single mom,
right,
and I'm working,
right,
but I realize that job is just not enough. I have two children, and then I said, well, I'm going to do hair, or I'm going to sell products, or I'm going to bake cakes. I'm baking cakes for my children for whatever project they have for school. I'm going to bake some extra cakes and sell something that turns into a cupcake empire. Right. But I sold these cupcakes out of necessity because I needed extra money.
For sure. I'm not negating that. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is I don't think women should be in that position to do that. That's what I'm saying. And I think that when they move from a space where they're not in that position to do that, all things flourish correctly. All things move in balance. Their business probably grow how they want it to grow. They have the ability to kind of do what it is they want to do. Women have certain options that I feel like most men don't have. And so when you look at that, they have them same options in business, in the workplace, at home, and most men don't have the luxury of doing that.
What? The luxury of what?
Of having certain options in life.
Like what? What options do women have that's the luxury that you think men don't have?
So
I'm trying to understand.
A woman can choose to say, hey, if you put a woman in her natural state with some options, you could choose to be like, listen.
What's her natural state? What is that? Let's define that. You keep saying natural state.
Right. Like being a natural nurturer and a helpmate. It's not subservient.
That's
it's
not what he's saying.
Right. It's not.
They ain't trying to start. I just want you to define natural state.
No, natural is being a natural feminist, right? Being more feminine than you are masculine. We all have them same traits, but you being a nurturer, a carer, giving something that can grow and fluctuate.
Okay.
That's just like saying crabs in the barrel. That's not their natural habitat.
For sure.
So when you take women out their natural habitat, they do things outside of the norm. But most women have options. Most women should have options. Let me say it like this. You should have the ability to be like, I'm not going to be taking nothing off of whoever, whatever. You should be able to build businesses based off you having options, to be able to, do what you want to do when you want to do. Most men can't. Most men have to be able to provide for themselves and others. They got to be able to work, not be taken care of. That comes with a certain type of mindset that most men don't have the luxury where we can walk outside and meet a woman that can take care of us. And if they in that position, they shouldn't be. But most women do. Women have the option where they can find a man who has money, or they can make their own money. They have the option where they can go to work today or not go to work. They got the option to be like, I'm on my cycle, I ain't coming in. You have options and stuff. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Stars and stripes.
Women got options.
I don't have that option. When I'm on my menses, I can't call in my job and say I can't come in.
But some people should. That's what.
What?
The point I'm trying to make is women.
No,
women should have.
We don't have. Let's put this out there. As a woman, when I'm on my cycle,
right,
I have to show up every day. I would like to.
Right.
I would love to say, call my job when I worked.
But you probably
I have the option today because I created that environment. Because I created that environment.
That's my
but
point,
I'm 40, whatever.
But that's
I created that today. But there's 20, 30 something, 40, 50-year-olds who work a W-2 job who don't have that option because they're on their cycle.
For sure. That means they're put in a position where they have to show up in this space.
That means that we're not viewed as handicapped or disabled because we're on our cycle. Now, 100 years ago, they would tell us to drive off to the edge of the town when your cycle was on. But we're not doing that today. When my cycle's on, I could show up. I can show up. I'm not disabled because my cycle.
It doesn't mean that you're disabled.
But I don't have that option.
But my point is,
if I call out sick, I'm really sick, and maybe I am on my cycle. But the job doesn't have a provision that says you get 5 days a month when your cycle's on. You could call out. For sure.
But my thing is that we should, in order to bring women around men, you're gonna have to. There's gonna be some things where you're not gonna.
So because why? Now you're saying I should. That should be
right.
The
whole basis of this is the fact that.
Tell me how you really feel. So
I
shouldn't come to work.
If that's not what you want to do.
Okay.
Men should have the ability to afford women the luxuries of choosing what they want to do when they want to do it. Any woman who have to do anything out of necessity or a need or a survival becomes somebody unlike herself. That's what my whole point is.
All right. Is there a tax question now? Because my head is, I'm tired. We started with women in business.
I'm telling you,
then
that's
the man said we
have
the luxury of calling out during my cycle. Well, we should have the luxury.
Most women are going to take that approach. Why? Because that's an internal thing to make them feel, to make yourself feel, to want to be seen, heard, and respected on equal playing field. And in the perfect world, nobody's equal to nobody.
You right. Right?
Right, but we don't operate that way. Women walk in with a force that they should be equal to men. Men operate in a force that
I want if we're in the same space, right? I want to be treated equal. The same way your opinion is valued, mine should be.
That's
you're paid, but that's what work is. When we are all called into an office and they say, "Hey, team, tell me what you think about this marketing plan." I want your marketing plan and my marketing plan, or my opinion based on what you think marketing is, should be valued the same. And I want to get compensated the same. I actually should get compensated more.
All right, that's a different issue, though.
Since most of the times I'm going to have the children anyway. Give me more.
See what I'm saying? See, that's what I'm talking about.
You
walk right into my point. See, most of the time you got the ability to.
You're right.
That's all I'm saying. So when you look at this,
I don't have the ability though, because white dominance and patriarchy says that has created the value for me.
Right, but that's a whole other thing. We're not talking about that.
But that is the thing that's bleeding and running into how you view and how people view women in business. Where did the ideas come from? It's not that through osmosis and God gave you and said, women are this and men are that. We were socialized through a patriarchy of white supremacy that women are this and men are that. And y'all stick in those boxes. And if y'all try to bleed and do anything else, we're going to cause confusion and havoc. That's why men view women in a certain light. Why we have to twist and change the narrative to be viewed as an individual. You keep saying a natural state. It's not natural to me based on what you think it is. Natural to me is 100% on how I feel, right? Not what society deems me as being natural. So if I don't want to have children, if I don't want to marry, that's natural to me or natural to that woman. That's what natural is, meaning that it's innate. It's just in me. So women in business, if it's natural for her and we're up for the same contract, I want the same opportunity as you would. I want the same opportunity. Same way as a man, you want to be viewed and given the same opportunity as your white counterpart. I want the same. I don't want more. I want the same. Don't devalue me. Don't give me a handicap because I'm on my menstrual. Give me the same.
Yeah, it'll never happen. It just never happened.
All right, I tried. I'm going to go back to myself.
It'll never happen. But the biggest problem is it's not necessarily the problem is the views that the world put on everybody. Because I don't fall victim to the same, that's just like saying all men love sport. I barely watch sports. I don't know nobody in there. I don't know the stats. I don't know the statistics. That makes me not a man. I don't think so. However, there's just we are naturally just different people. I don't have a desire to be seen more or less than a white person. I just have a desire to operate in my gift and be respected as such based off my work. And I think that women have the same right and should be afforded the same respect. But I also know that men and women have different needs. They're two different people. And when you bring them together, that's why it's policies that say, hey, women can't say this, men can't say this. Why? Because we got to cohabitate in the same space, in the same arena. And most people are not comfortable doing that. And when just like how you said you want to have the freedoms to be able to say, hey, I got my kids, I can do this, I'm all for that. And I think that all women should have that. The problem is that most men don't allow, most women try to be so seen and heard that they want to be on all equal fields like men, and then most men turn around and do the same thing for women, and nobody ever hears each other. Nobody ever come together on anything.
I'm gonna say this in my soft voice, so maybe it's more received. That I feel like when women say we want to be seen the same way, somehow men internalize it that we're taking from you, right? So I'm not trying to push you off the pedestal, right? I just want room to be able to sit on it. I'm not saying when you're saying women want to be seen, right? I want the same opportunities as you. That doesn't mean I'm taking yours away. It's enough here for all of us. And I feel some men, when we talk about women in business, have this scarcity mindset that if we bring more women in, that means less of us will be able to play. And I think, again, it's pit that way against each other through white supremacy. As my black counterpart, we both can sit at this table and enjoy the fruits of our labor without fighting to say, well, you don't belong here, or I don't want to create enough space for you because there's only enough for one minority. No, we both can do this. So when I say I want to be seen, I want to sit at the table, that doesn't mean that there's no room for you. And I think sometimes men...
Are you a feminist?
I'm whatever you want to is. Do what you want. Do I believe in women? I am a woman. I do.
That sounds real feminist.
How? What is that?
From a standpoint of, first of all, I don't even think, we talking white supremacy. I don't think that...
We're talking about women in business.
For sure, but you talking about
when
women
you start
being...
talking about what's natural,
you
that
saying,
is a white supremacist talking point.
No, it's not.
All right.
That's not a white supremacist talking point.
It is, because you about to put me in a box.
I'm about to put you in your own box.
Oh, Jesus.
That's the...
What's my own box? What's the box? But if you say my own...
thin line between the feminist movement and just being just I don't even know what the other word is. Just looking at it for what it is, right?
All right.
All I'm saying is you operating as a woman in what you feel is natural. I don't think, let me address this first. I don't think that women coming to the table is a trait where most men think they're booed out, right? Because from a white supremacy standpoint, I just don't think women was a factor. I don't think most people was a factor in whatever it is that they were doing. So anybody who comes into a world that looks for validation, to be seen, to be heard, to be taken in account for, they were never thought of to be taken in account, period.
For sure. So that means that you didn't even consider me at the table, same way they did with black people.
But why is that a problem versus you just operating on who you are?
The same way black people want a seat at the table to be viewed and want the same opportunities our white counterparts
It's the same
do.
point. Why are you concerned with that? Operating who you are. Because what?
Because unfortunately the systemic parts don't allow me to do so.
In what way? It's black businesses that's successful. It's black men that's successful.
Black women businesses.
It's black women business that's successful.
All right, all lives matter. Okay.
I'm not. No, it's not an all lives matter.
No
My
problem.
thing is
that's
we
like
shift
people
the
that's saying
focus.
there's some black wealthy people. You got Oprah. You've got LeBron.
But you do.
You do. But does that mean that it's inequality and unfair for the...
Right, but inequality comes off based off your own. If I was never thought about if you were never in my focal point for me to build anything that I'm doing,
it's still systemic things, right? Through cultural bias, unconscious bias, that don't allow women to sit at the table, right? That don't allow you to open the door and let me in equally without this natural state that you're thinking I should be in.
All right.
I just gave you an explanation on when I show up into the room that men sometimes don't take me seriously, that they ask me for my husband.
Right.
Now, what's that? What's that? That's his own cultural bias that me as a woman, that I am not equal, that whatever I have to say is not going to muster. Now, I'm going to go and call my husband and say, listen, so-and-so needs to talk to you because what I just told him about his business, but this is his situation. And he's going to regurgitate exactly what I said to that man, and he's going to receive it differently than what I said.
So what happens if a man in his view like to deal and talk to men versus talking to women in the sense of like women should handle the women and men should handle the men? Is that like business?
What we talking about? In church?
Anything.
Like, I mean, no. There's sometimes that maybe the woman could possibly talk to her daughter maybe about her body changing, but no. What would you as a man that you could only talk to men and not men and women? Like then you got to be specific and give me a scenario because then maybe I'm not following.
I mean, it's men who think like, it's men who just literally just like, I just deal with men, and it's not from an exclusion standpoint. It's just from like, I like
his own perverted mindset on why he can't talk to women.
But why does it make it perverted?
Because why can't you? What's the problem?
But see, this is my point. That's you.
I'm emotional and I'm aggressive.
You having a feeling based off what what it is that you want, not thinking about what the other person, is doing.
But the issue is the why. Why does that person not want to talk to me? Now, if he says, I find you off-putting and I don't think you really know what you're talking about. Okay. But if maybe he just don't. Maybe he doesn't. I don't gel. I don't mesh with everybody. And it's not just because I'm a woman, right? It could just be I'm off-putting to him. But if I bring him another woman, and if I bring him someone on my team that can do the same job, but maybe they mesh personality-wise, and he says, no, I don't like her either. I prefer a man. Well, that's a bias. I don't want to give my business to you or her. Is there any men on the team? Where's the men? I only want to talk to men. Yeah. That's like the white man say, I don't want to talk to none of these monkeys. Where's the white people? I only want to talk to the white folks.
In that regard, like, I don't have an opinion on if that's right or wrong. But you don't think that's wrong? Because I'd rather somebody let me know who they are. I think if you think it's wrong, that's you trying to change the person's perspective, and it is what it is. That's my whole point about this. It is what it is. We was brought into America where nobody was considered but the white male, not even his own woman.
For sure.
Now, everybody is racing to get the attention of the white man, even his own woman. So we're doing things.
I'm not trying to get his attention.
But that's what it falls down to.
No, it's not. If I'm trying to even get your attention as my black male counterpart, you don't see me.
Right.
You don't see me. And naturally, if we want to go natural, if we want to go all the way back to Africa, we were in this thing together.
Because he can't see you without seeing himself. And if his eyes are set on what the white man trying to get him to do, he will never see you. Why you think there's a play on?
And that's what? That's designed from white supremacy.
I don't disagree.
Well, you did, like 4 clicks ago. Y'all run that back? He disagreed. Didn't he disagree?
On white supremacy?
Thank you. 4 clicks. Rewind that back. He said.
What I disagree with? That what wasn't white supremacy?
Go ahead, wife. Come on.
Right, because y'all...
No,
sir. Y'all making stuff up.
No, sir.
Y'all making stuff up. Y'all making stuff
we
up.
We not.
I don't... It's not that I don't... It's not that I don't...
You said it's not about white supremacy. I said those are white supremacy talking points because you were like, your natural state, what this is, what that is. And I said those are white supremacy talking points.
All right, let's clear this up before we wrap this up. I said that's not a white supremacy talking point because I think that we don't spend enough time operating in who we are, period.
Because you kept saying naturally. And naturally, that was those boxes on who we are was designed from white supremacy because they say, I am the white man. I don't see none of y'all. Right? It's a hierarchy.
Right.
From white male all the way down to a slave.
Right.
And so women were considered second class.
Right.
For him, not naturally for us in native cultures.
Right.
He put that design in play.
Right.
And we took that and made it our own because that's the bias and the culture and the place we lived in. We lived in America.
Right.
That we took that design and wore it, the shirt, the sleeves, and wore it as black men and said, woman, this is your place based on what they told us to wear. That's not natural. So that's why I kept saying, when you kept saying natural, that's not a natural thing.
Well, we should have cleared this up.
All right.
4 clips ago.
That's right.
So no, I'm not saying that.
So I'm just saying as a woman in business,
right?
We're talking about women in business. Help women in business get a seat at the table.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
We gonna jump into tax talk, y'all. We got a tax scenario from somebody.
Help your fellow business women get a seat at the table. If you are in a room full of businessmen and you look around and realize there's no women here, pause and stop and pose a question. Hey, could we use someone else's perspective here? I know some bad women who know finance, who know business, who know strategic planning, who know real estate, who know all the things. Let's open the door and let them in. We don't have to sit here like the old boys club, like they do. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right. That was our wrap up for women in business. Give us a seat at the table. All right. Now we're going to move on to our tax talk segment. All right. You have the question or should I?
You got the question.
All right. I'm going to read the question. Here goes. All right. All right, here's our question, guys. Like I can't even talk in that voice. This don't even sound natural. See, you want me to be natural.
When you operate outside
and
of who you are.
But my naturalness is a little aggressive, so y'all might not think it's natural.
Right,
so
but you worry about what they think versus being who you are. That's how most women approach stuff.
All right, we're not going to spin that block again. All right, okay, here we go. If a 20-year-old lives with parents but worked a job and made $31K, he's not in school, can the parents file them as a dependent?
How old is the kid?
He's 20 and he made $31,000. The question is, can I still claim him as a dependent?
Does he live with the parents?
It doesn't say that, but we could pose either one. The question doesn't say it, but we can role play either one.
If he's 20, I feel like if he's 20, like the kid should file for himself. I feel right. The parents. What you gonna get $500 for the dependency, some situation like that, but it ain't gonna hurt nothing. But now if he does live with him. And that does pose a different type of question. He still got to file, but being 20, he probably still can be claimed as a dependent on somebody else's tax credit. That's the law.
Yeah.
Right. So if he's 20, 21, I can still claim the kid, and he can still file on his own. Right. But if it were me, I would just let him file all together by himself.
Yeah. So the technical answer is, being 20. If he lives at home with his parents, they can claim him, but he still must file. He made $31,000.
Still gotta file.
And so you just have to check on the return that someone else can claim this person. If he doesn't live with his parents, I don't even know why the question exists. So I would assume that he lives with them.
So it's just a play.
Unless he's like in college and they're paying for,
Well, he said it's no school.
Oh, you're right.
So it's no school. So he's just working.
So he's just working.
So and it depends on the situation. Like if the parents' taxes is high, like you know what I'm saying. Like if they owing a lot, I'm gonna take all the deductions I can get.
That's true.
You ain't buying your own food.
You live in here. I'm taking care of you. Right. You're not getting this EIC credit. You ain't getting your personal EIC.
Go file these taxes, right?
Hopefully he paid in. At $31,000, he should have paid in almost $4,000.
Something close to it.
So he can get that back.
If he paid that in. So that's a good question now.
Yeah.
We get that question. Some people, I think we get that.
Because you could technically claim up until 25.
Yep.
25.
Yeah.
So you can still claim your grown children if they live with you and you take care of them, right?
Yeah.
They must file if they make, to me.
Even that though, the rule is 25 while they in school.
Listen, if you live in my house, and you're 25.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so look at I'm going to leave it alone because we're going to jump into a whole nother subject. Oh, so the kid being 25. Yeah.
System set it up.
For the kids to be independent. Right? Because first of all, if he 20 or something, he should be living with me. Where's he going to go? He can't. What you going to do on $30,000? I lived on that. So I know you ain't going to do too much with it, right? But that's a good question. So technically the parents can file. Should the kid file? I think they should. Whether the parents claim it or not is scenario based off the claim. If it's going to help the parents in a certain way, either reduce their taxes or
will. It'll help them regardless. Yeah.
Then I would do it that way. So good question. This is a wrap. Don't forget to keep minding your biz, y'all. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment.
Yeah.
Interesting subject today, women in business and the tax questions. So y'all like, share, subscribe, hit that button, hit that bell, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.
All right.
Peace.